This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Safid Dean, by the way, is ready to join us now. And Safid will start on the platform next week officially as Baptist Health of South Florida joined the platform. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend from USA Today, NFL, and Messi writer for USA Today, Mr. Soccer, Safid underscore Dean. How you doing, baby? You doing all right?
Big O, how are you, man? You should have told me you were in Canesville. I would have came up the street and did the show with you right there.
Oh, I didn't know that, man. I'm sorry. You live close to Canesware?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
right in
good.
Daisy.
Okay, good. Well, next time out next month when we're by here, I'll tell you and if it's your day, that we then you can come on by and if not, we'll make it your day and you can come on by and join us, man. Let's go over and by the way, next Safid's going to be on with us 3 times a week, by the way. Twice a week, obviously with the Dolphin reports and then post game. So we'll have them fresh out of the locker room, fresh after the game, all that kind of stuff, giving us the insight on what's going on with the Miami Dolphins. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we thank our friends at Baptist Health of South Florida for making it happen. Safid, first of all, let's go with the Jonathan Taylor stuff. I'm the one that I never really thought this was going to happen because Chris Greer just doesn't overpay, dude, for running backs. I just don't see that, dude. So you tell me what'd you think of the non-deal?
The non-deal. You're right. Look, I think the only person this hurts in the end is Jonathan Taylor. It doesn't hurt
Yeah.
the Dolphins because they were ready to go in with the running backs that they decided to have on their roster. Chris Brooks beating out Miles Gaskin, a move I actually like. Um, And the Colts were prepared to play without Jonathan Taylor regardless. So even if he stays on the PUP and misses the first 4 games, or he ends up getting traded by the deadline in October, the Colts are ready to play without him. The Dolphins are ready to play without him. The only person here in the wrong is Jonathan Taylor, who wants a new deal.
Well,
Like we,
hold on. They screwed Anthony Richardson. You got a young
I agree.
quarterback, bro. You guys are idiots, dude. You're morons. You got to have Jonathan Taylor on the field for that young quarterback and help him, dude. You got to
Hmm.
rise above this, and you got to do what's best. You already screwed up with Andrew Luck for years. You allowed that man to take a beating to a point where he said, "Enough. I'm out of here. I'm done." And so you're doing it all over again. You're doing stupid things for a young quarterback, bro. And uh, I commend San Francisco because they said, okay, let's go get the running back because we're not paying quarterbacks. So let's go pay this running back. Let's surround this young guy and make his life as easy as possible. To me, if you're going to bring a young quarterback into a league right away like that, dude, please you know, coddle the guy, protect him, make his life easy until the light goes on that he can figure everything out and decipher what these defenses are trying to do. So you're right. JT gets screwed here, but I got to tell you, they screwed Anthony Richardson big time, big time.
Yeah, and Jim Irsay shot himself in the foot here as soon as he, went to bat with Jonathan Taylor's agent
Right.
on Twitter and social media. Not only did you say to everybody in the league, you're not paying your running back who led the league in rushing in 2011 in 2021, excuse me. You literally just dropped the trade value of your own player you're trying to trade away essentially when you gave him the opportunity to be traded, right?
Yeah.
To want a first round pick for a second round pick, too much, especially when somebody has to pay Jonathan Taylor. And look,
Exactly.
Christian McCaffrey is making 15, 16 mil. He's the highest paid running back. Everybody else after that is barely 13. A bunch of $8 and $10 million players too. Jonathan Taylor is going to get, pretty close to 15, or he should. And now, everything that Jim Irsay is doing right now is just hurting Jonathan Taylor's pockets. He's not on the field right now. How can you give this guy 15 mil if you don't know what he's going to have, especially coming off injury last year? So maybe all the prices getting lower and lower by the day. Hopefully by October, the trade deadline, we'll see Jonathan Taylor moved. I mean, for all we know, he could be moved today. He could move anytime in the next couple of weeks, but I don't see Chris Kirk coming above any kind of crazy asking price. And
No,
I think Jim
I
Irsay is
said
going to have
this,
to eat
dude.
this one.
Even if you wanted a second rounder from Chris Greer, he's going to go. Well, okay, you want the second rounder? Well, you're going to have to take Emmanuel Ogba off my hands because I'm not paying Jonathan Taylor, and then I got to pay Ogba too. And you need a defensive end, so here you go. You want the second rounder? Go ahead. But he's not going to give up a second rounder for Jonathan Taylor. I think he'll go as far as a third or something like that. But I don't think he would even go to second. And if there's a second, there's going to be a big stipulation that comes with it. And that's probably where the Colts don't want to go. They don't want to take back the salary. And that's why I don't believe Miami would even allow even a second. Bro, they got Jalen Ramsey for a third.
Yeah.
Christian Wilkins has been the perfect human being, the perfect citizen in your city and your team, and has been a fantastic player. And you still looked him in the eye and said, "Nope, we're not giving you the money." This is a ruthless dude, bro. You gotta. I don't think people understand that this guy's a hell of a negotiator. This team is just not. No, sorry, Christian, you didn't bring up the sacks. We can't give you that kind of money if you don't have the sacks. And you think they're just going to bend over backwards? No, dude, that's not the way they roll in that organization.
Two things I want to say. If there's any stipulation on paying a higher pick, like say Chris Greer gives a second round pick for Jonathan Taylor, the stipulation is not for Indy, it's for Miami. They better win the Super Bowl if he's going to pay that.
Right.
The Dolphins need to win a playoff game, Big O. We can celebrate them reaching the playoffs last year all we want. It's the third time they did it in 22 years, 23
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
These guys are 9-8 the last 2 years.
Yeah, but 9-8 last year was only because of the injuries, not because in other years it's incompetence, it's not good enough coaching or players or quarterback. In this case, last year, I'm sorry, this is the 1 year where I would say it was injuries, bro. If they need breaks, bro, you can't lose your entire secondary and your quarterback. It just crippled the hell out of that team.
Even the games that they had the quarterback, two of them messed up in LA, couldn't play in San Francisco. Those 2 games you can't get back.
Nope.
And in regards to paying Christian Wilkins too, there's a message to be sent to Jalen Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa, first of all, Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, the guys coming up after Christian Wilkins, who you're going to have to pay. This is a message to all of them. Look, 9-8 is not enough. We played Buffalo 3 times last year. You can only beat them once. It's not enough. The team has to win a playoff game. And if you win 2, everybody's going to get paid. But I can understand why you pay Zach Sealer, but I understand why you don't give Christian Wilkins his money right now. And if Christian Wilkins balls out against the Bills this year, you give me 2 wins against the Bills, you probably get a contract extension before the playoffs start.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. If the sack numbers go up, which by the way, I'm predicting that his sack numbers are going to go up only because of Fangio, because I think the ends will do their job. And if you have a healthy secondary, which you didn't last year, it killed your pass rush. So all of a sudden now, if your secondary is pretty much healthy, I know you'll get Ramsey back, but with those young guys, with Kohu and I think Cam Smith will be fine. I think he'll adjust. But if your secondary's fine, I think all of a sudden your ends start getting the rush and they start getting the quarterback. I think it starts opening it up for Wilkins. I think his sack totals go up this year because of the scheme he's in and because people around him are actually healthy now.
I think one person that I want to see take the next step here, and I think the defense is really all around him more so than Christian Wilkins, it's got to be Bradley Chubb, Big O.
Yes.
You pay big money for this guy, and he's flopping on, tackles in the backfield last year because he's not playing in his scheme. Anybody on this team, Bradley Chubb has the least amount of excuses. This is his defense.
That's right.
Fangio's defense is the one that he played with in Denver. It's the one that got him all the stats that we all, boasted about when the trade happened and he joined the Dolphins. For me, Bradley Chubb has to have a standout year. And he's
the guy that's not making a transition.
Yeah, he has to be the one to really take the next step in his game here in Miami to make the trade worth it, to make the money worth it. It's his defense. I think he has the least amount of excuses out of anybody here. You want to see Jalen Phillips get after the football too, not drop back as much. I want to see Ogba and Andrew Van Ginkel also as well. We'll see what they do with the D tackle depth. And I think the best part about knowing about this Dolphins team right now is that all those guys in the secondary, they're not, instead of a season where guys get hurt and you have attrition, these guys are going to be coming back at certain times later on this year.
Right.
And that
Right.
is going to help Miami a lot.
Big time. I'm with you there because Needham will get healthy and get back, and then obviously you'll get the monster in Jalen Ramsey back, and that'll be good. I don't know how long it'll be for Elijah Campbell. It seems like it's going to be a while for Elijah Campbell, but and what a shame because I thought he won the job. Did you think he won the job?
I think he won the job because nobody else was really taking the job. He took the job. I think that's really what it was. And I think because of the fact that he went down, that's why the Dolphins made this trade for Kelvin Joseph, ending this Noah Igbenogany saga. I feel bad for Noah Igbenogany. He was put in a really bad spot here by the Dolphins. 20 years old, drafted with a first-round pick. He was the youngest player taken in that 2020 draft when he was drafted. Austin Jackson wasn't too far behind him in the age factor as well. But Dolphins had Tua, Austin Jackson, and Noah Igbenogany. A trade full of potential versus a draft full of potential, versus a draft where you kind of really knew who you had in any of these guys. Both those guys were projects, and they needed to make a little bit of a bigger impact. I'm not sure how this trade works out for both Dallas and Miami. Kelvin Joseph, I was reading up a little bit on him. It seems like, second round pick 2021. It feels like Dallas gave up on him just like how Miami essentially gave up on Noah Igbenogany. And now both sides are going to try to make it happen, where they they learn each other and see if they can deal with each other now. But I plays inside, and I think that's the biggest part.
I think there's a difference here too. I think there's a difference. I don't think they're counting on Joseph so much as a corner. I think they basically traded for a flyer, for a gunner, whatever.
Yeah. A special teams guy that could probably play
that's what I think. I think the Noah thing is already a failure. They're just like, hey, you know what? We got a couple of gunners that got injured on us now. We need to replace one of them. We're short on gunners right now, flyers, whatever the hell you want to call them. Here's a kid that's available. Let's go move Noah. We don't need him. We save $800,000 in the cap. Let's get an extra flyer in there. I think that's what really it was more about than anything else. Let's shore up special teams. We can do it with Noah, which we don't need. I think that's kind of what it was.
I think you save on the 5th-year option for Noah as well too.
Yeah, $800,000. You save nearly $1 million. So it was really all a really smart move. We were talking about that yesterday with Cam. That it's just really good cap management by Chris, getting an impossible situation and making something out of it by getting a flyer. And I get that because you just lost Elijah Campbell. You just lost who's the other guy that's injured now that I'm forgetting?
David Davis.
No, he wouldn't have made it. Somebody else that would have made the team. That was a start. That was a gunner that is banged up.
You're missing me too.
Is it one of the running backs? Is Brooks one?
I don't think Brooks is a running
back. No, not Brooks. Yeah, A-Chain. They used him a little bit. So you used A-Chain a little bit on the flyer side, and so he's banged up. So you kind of that's what I'm reading. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of the way I looked at it. Going back to the Wilkins situation, God, he's so amazing the way he's handled everything. He really is a true pro. It seems like there's not going to be a repercussion from all of this. It's not like like Connor Williams. It looks like, he's got his mind on his money on his mind, and he's not really concentrating at times. I don't see that from Wilkins, but what do you think happens from this stalemate?
Well, Christian Wilkins has to put his future money where his mouth is, pretty much. He said nobody wants to be a Dolphin more than him. He's got to go out there and prove it. Look, Christian Wilkins plays with a lot of juice. It's amazing to see. A lot of the media guys, we obviously watch practice together, and Christian Wilkins is getting in the backfield and talking shit to everybody. It's a sight to see. It's amazing. It's just like when you watch a Buffalo game and he's pissing off Josh Allen. As a Dolphins fan, there's nothing more exciting. And I think that Christian has to go help produce. He has to produce. He had one great season. Good for him, career year. I mean, go have another one. Go have 2 years in a row. Um, that's kind of where I think the Dolphins kind of stand on this. I appreciate that Christian Wilkins is up for an extension. Yes, I appreciate that the fact that some other players have gotten paid that have maybe done what Wilkins feels like is equal or maybe even less to what he's done in the last year or so. Um, but kudos to Chris Greer because everybody has eyes on this one here. Christian Wilkins was the first player he drafted in 2019, the first player to start this rebuild around. They saw everything that Christian Wilkins did at Clemson when they won 2 national titles there and saw that leadership and saw what he does to galvanize teams around him. And Wilkins has done the same thing here in Miami. He's become the leader on this defense. Guys like Xavier Howard, Jerome Baker, all those D linemen, D tackles, they all follow him. The corners follow him. They love when he's talking smack and doing the same thing too. So everybody knows, everybody had all eyes on Christian to see if he would get paid. And all the other guys behind him that are going to get paid next are like, okay, Christian didn't get paid. That means we all have to work harder. So I think it's a good message you send to everybody when they finally realize, all right, we got to work a little bit harder for this money that we're asking for. But if we deliver like we should deliver, which is not just one, but I'm hoping for 2 playoff wins. All right, then we can let some money fly.
Yeah, I think if he's able to turn it up and get some sacks, I think he'll somehow get the contract talks going, and they can still tag him and control him. So his agent and him aren't going to get crazy about this. They'll talk and they'll settle down. Let me ask you something. When Chris Greer officially took over and got rid of all these idiots, one of the things he talked about was the dysfunction is over. Seems like you see as the Chris Greer era continues, the dysfunction is over, isn't it?
Dysfunction as in what? You're not cutting guys and having a lot of dead money left?
Oh, no, not just that. It's just
And
the bickering
uh-huh.
that we've seen in the past, the Joe Philbin mess or the Jeff Ireland, the Donna Ponte battle,
Sure.
going in the middle of the night to go get Harbaugh or whatever. Just things that used to happen on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem under Chris Greer. We're not talking about some of the goofiness of the owner and all that, but like football operations overall under Chris Greer, there doesn't seem to be like a dysfunction, right?
Well, the Dolphins had too many hands in the cookie jar before, right? You
Yes, sir.
had when I
You're right.
started covering this team, it was Adam Gase, Mike Tannenbaum, and Chris Greer. And Chris Greer, I remember one practice vividly, Big O, in the Nova facility indoors. The 2 guys are just talking, 2 guys meaning Adam Gase and Tannenbaum. They're just talking back and forth. And Chris Greer is just like, are you guys done yet? Like that was my first impression of what Chris Greer was doing. And it sucks when you have to answer to somebody else or
And by the way, the owner's the 4th guy in the mix. He might not
yeah.
have been in that move, but he's
Yeah.
somewhere else throwing 2 cents in there. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, throwing 2 million, couple million, more than 2 cents, right? But look, I think there was too many hands in the cookie jar, and that's never good for business. Chris Greer became the outright leader of football operations, and he has Brandon Shore and some other guys as his, top lieutenants. Marvin Allen being one of them, which was a great person to have for him. It helps when you're not arguing with somebody in the room about decisions that have to be made.
Mhm.
Sometimes you might get out. Maybe you might be 2-1 on a move that maybe really works out for you, or maybe a move that should have happened doesn't happen because of the fact that you don't really have autonomy in the room. So I think yes, that has helped. I think Chris Grant, Brian Flores were on the same page on a lot of things, and the team did really well considering they were above 500 with Flores the last 2 years. Um, but also, I think they're a lot more aligned with Mike now too. And I think there's something to be said in the NFL. Like there's Robert Saleh getting Aaron Rodgers. I want a defensive coach to be with a veteran QB versus offensive coach to be with a rookie QB, just to help each other along in that franchise. I don't think we're going to see any more days of a defensive coach like Brian Flores getting a rookie quarterback and trying to take him the way unless that offensive coordinator is really, really good. I'd rather just have the offensive coordinator be the coach of my team. But I think when you have all those things aligned, and now Steve Ross is in line with paying guys like Tyreek Hill, paying guys like Bradley Chubb, paying guys like Jalen Ramsey, because you don't want to be 9-8 anymore. You actually want to win a playoff game. I think everybody's a lot more aligned, now more than ever.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, so when they announced the cuts and the 53, one of the guys that I had making it was Chris Brooks. And when he makes it, one of the things I told what's it called, Cam, yesterday when we were talking after everything was done, I said, "Did they keep him because of injury? And they're just waiting for everybody to get healthy, and then they go back to 4 again, or what?" And we really don't know. But then I started to think about it overnight. So let me see if my brain is running a little too much here. So we're talking about the coach that realized that he screwed up in the Buffalo and the Green Bay game. There was another game too where he abandoned the run, and he was pounding the crap out of these teams with the run 7, 9 yards a carry, abandoned it. And to his credit, he realized it, apologized to even Mostert, mentioned it to us that he did not dedicate himself enough to the run. So we watched the 200-yard performance 2 weeks ago, which is why I think they were very vanilla this week. I think that was their week 2 weeks ago, and then they said, we're done. We're enough. And so, but we saw that heavy dedication in the running game. And so now you keep Chris Brooks because he brings a little more oomph than some of these other guys, a little different guy. So you keep 5 now. Could it be that you kept 5 because of the injuries and you're waiting for A-Chain and everybody to get back and then you'll release Chris Brooks? Or could it be what I'm thinking, that this coach is saying, no. Running backs get injured. We're going to dedicate ourselves to the run. We're going to run more. I'm expecting maybe a couple guys to get banged up. Let me keep an extra back this year than I did last year. Which one is it, Safedine of USA Today?
I think it's the latter one, Big O. And look, Mike McDaniel is a running back coach. A lot of these coaches are always going to go back to their, to what they know best.
Their heart and
And
soul.
before that, he was a receivers coach, but he's run game. He's run game coordinator. I like Chris Brooks a lot, man. That was
Me
one
too.
practice where we're sitting on the balcony in the indoor practice, and the field is right here towards us. They're doing a red zone drill, and Chris Brooks gets a handoff, and helmets are hitting, pads are smacking. It's like what you want to see when you see a running back get the football. Go get the touchdown when we're this close to the red zone. So they flip the play.
Right.
They flip the offense, and somebody hands off the ball to Chris Brooks, and he's gone 99 yards for a touchdown. Maybe 91, all right? Nobody was catching him. Tua ran all the way from one pylon to probably about the 30-yard line so he could celebrate with the kid and then cheers with the kid as he's coming out the end zone. I thought that was a big moment for Dolphins this whole preseason. That happened probably a couple weeks ago. But you got a bruiser in Chris Brooks, man, and Raheem Mostert. Finesse runner, looks really beautiful.
Although
when he runs
last
and
year
gets a
there
lot
were
of years.
moments, dude, where
And he was
Mostert,
hitting.
yeah,
He was hitting.
dude.
He's not a soft guy. He's not a soft guy. Let's get that right
Yeah.
here. He's not a soft guy, but I'd rather him outside than in between the tackles.
Yes.
Jeff Wilson, I'd rather have him between the tackles, and he does really well in spurts. Savon Ahmed outplayed Myles Gaskin this preseason. We've seen in the preseason games. And Chris Brooks was the bruiser that needed to have. Who would you rather have? Myles Gaskin, who's a little bit smaller, or Chris Brooks, who's 6 foot, 230, ready to smack some dudes every time he touched the ball?
No, I'm a Chris Brooks guy. It's a different running back. You need it in
Yeah.
your group. And by the way, if something happens to the fullback, not that Chris Brooks is a fullback, but
Mhm.
in a pinch in the middle of a game, hey Chris, we need you to fill in at fullback a little bit. He's the only guy that probably could do it on that team right now. And you're not really going to cover, you cut Lovett, so it's not like you're really going to carry a second fullback. So Brooks might be able to be a little emergency fullback for you for a couple quarters.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Brooks run behind Engold. That's going to be a sight to see. And even A-Chain when he gets back too. But I like 5 running backs. Look, everything about Tua is play action. You have to be able to sell the fake so Tyreek and Jalen Waddle can get past the cornerback if he takes the bait. And that's essentially what you need on offense. That's why the Dolphins have been going after or looking into all these running backs, is because you got a running back that the D coordinator and the defense is to worry about. It opens everything up for Tua. Tua had Josh Jacobs, and he had, who was that other running back that he had at Alabama that set the tone for him? Some other first round picks, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on it too, but
I know.
Tua needs a good running back behind him so that it puts fear in the defense, so that they know this guy can run the ball. Takes a lot of pressure off of Tua. Just like you were talking about Anthony Richardson, it takes a lot of pressure off of Tua when the run game is there. The thing next is I like to see from Mike is when it's first down, are you running the ball because you know you should, or are you passing it because you feel like everybody's expecting the run? And if you stop playing around there, and if you win 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, you're going to win a lot more games. You're going to keep the ball a lot longer, and you're going to keep your defense off the field as well.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this. We'll put you on the spot. Austin Jackson had a pretty solid camp. Did he turn the corner? Yay or nay?
Nay for me right now. I want to see him turn the corner during the season. I don't want to see it in the preseason. I need to see it happen against real competition. There were some times where the second stringer was getting reps behind or ahead of Austin Jackson during preseason here.
By the way, I thought it was a good move to keep Keon Smith.
I'm sure
he flashed, dude. At times, people didn't. I talked about him a couple times. I didn't go to all the practices like you because I can't. But at some of the practices that I was at, I was like, "Yo, who the hell is this guy?" Like he would have a couple of reps, like, "Yo, that was really nice," and sometimes one-on-ones, and I was like, "This looks like an interesting project." You know what I mean? The Ukabuchi guy or whatever. I wasn't that impressed with him. But the Keon Smith guy, I thought there was a little something there. I don't know if you saw the same thing.
I don't know if I saw the same thing either. All I know is I know Brandon Shell did really well for them last year, and I was worried about why they didn't re-sign him even for a mil. And then we saw during training camp that he retired with the Bills. So the Dolphins either already knew that or
I heard that people were afraid that his body wouldn't hold up.
All right, so
that's what I reported on the show months ago, and exactly what happened. His body didn't hold up.
Which is really sad because the kid almost played, all the season at right tackle, and they had a really good O-line last year with him at right tackle.
Yeah.
Hopefully you find a guy there. Hopefully Austin Jackson is the guy. Hopefully Armstead comes back real soon. I'm not sure Waddle and Armstead come back week 1. I know Waddle wants to. I know they both want to. Big O, I would keep those guys out if it means I'm playing in January, February. If I can just, have one more week to rest them. But
I got a curve for you.
I
got a curve for you. I mean, this is going to be a fork ball I'm throwing at your ass. Waddle better be ready because the NFL has not said anything about Tyreek. And I have said from the get-go, I would not be surprised Tyreek gets one game. Not because of the smack, but because of the anger shown both times after the smack, that the friend had to hold him back and that the 6 other people had to hold him back. And because of the prior stuff, I could see the NFL giving him one game. They're going to have to make a ruling by Friday at 5:00 because you can't do it on Monday or Tuesday and tell the Dolphins that you don't have Tyreek. So by Friday at 5:00, we got to know from the NFL if they're going to fine, suspend Tyreek, or do nothing whatsoever. So if Waddle is not ready for week 1, Tyreek could be suspended for week 1. Correct?
Yeah, in theory, correct. In theory, correct. I don't think Tyreek gets suspended though. I think Tyreek could get a fine. Sure, everything is against Tyreek too, but I think Tyreek has done a lot of things to, make some changes for himself. Obviously, this was not as bad as other things that could have happened, not just to him, but any other player in the league. And then some other things have happened where players have been participating in some things and have not got disciplined as well. So I don't think Tyreek is suspended. I think he might have got away with this one with just a settlement and what happened there. But I will be keeping a notice on it, just like you are, Big O, because it's definitely worth worrying about for the next couple of days.
Yeah. What do you got going on in USA Today so Dolphin fans can check you out, my friend?
Definitely, definitely. The brand new It's a Football podcast has returned. We got our Week at Zero episode, myself and Tyler Dragon. So
Oh, he's a
check
good
that
dude.
out. It's on my
Good
Twitter.
dude.
Yeah, Tyler Dragon's a great dude. He loves the Dolphins. Just kidding. He's a Chargers fan.
Yeah.
But we go back and forth all the time talking about all things NFL, not just Dolphins. If you guys looking for a little bit more of a national perspective, come through and check us out. Big O, I'll be here with you. I'll be at the Messi game tonight, Inter Miami versus Nashville.
And he starts too, bro.
Messi's
Thank
supposed
God.
to start.
Bro, are you surprised that there's no diva in that guy?
There's
Like,
no what?
seriously. Like most of these kind of superstars come over, like Higuain came over and said, "Oh, I thought I could smoke cigarettes and, hang out in the drive-through and score goals." And he got a smack in the face, and this dude's a gym rat. Like a superstar gym rat. Like when he played the 130 minutes the other night, I was
Dog.
floored, bro. Floored.
There's nothing
Wow.
Leo Messi loves more than being on that pitch. That's something that I've learned watching 8 games, right? 8 games so far of him playing.
Yes. Yes, sir.
He doesn't love anything more than soccer besides family, right? He
Probably.
doesn't care about any of the outside stuff. He doesn't care about, well, I think he cares about the money, but once that's settled, I don't think he cares about anything else. He just wants to play. This is fun for him. This is what he does. And he loves bringing those other guys around him. I'm not a soccer enthusiastic by any stretch. I will watch World Cup. I'm getting into soccer so much more because of Messi and Inter Miami and the crazy things that they're doing together. It's really cool to see. It's really cool to kind of be a part of if you're living here in South Florida. I know the tickets are expensive, guys, but if you guys get a chance to go and can go and can watch him in person, I would get that. That's like a bucket list life sports item for me.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Safid_Dean. And get ready, baby. You're going to get tons of Safid on the platform. Thanks to our friends at Baptist Health of South Florida 3 times a week, twice during the week, and once during the post-game show. Safid, thank you for taking some time, my friend. Appreciate you immensely.
Appreciate you, Big O. See you soon.
Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend. There you go. The great Safid Dean. 1 hour.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.